Do. All righty, I'm going to put the tweet out, and no way, UConn won? But I know a couple people said they were going to pile in here. Let me go to ACC scores real quick. No way UConn actually won. Good for UConn, dude. That's hilarious. Duke's going to win the ACC at like 6-6. Anyway, welcome to Missouri Tigers Postgame Live. Mike Elko's running out onto the field to shake Eli's hand. Texas A&M 38, Missouri 17. And look, let's be blunt. That was another ass kicking at the hands of Texas A&M. Texas A&M was the better team. It didn't matter who was quarterback for Mizzou today. That was abysmal. That was pathetic in the second half. You could really see the defense let go of the rope, especially after that touchdown to end the game. This is Missouri's Postgame Live. I'm Zach Ramilius here again after another Missouri Tigers loss out of a bye week. Eli doesn't seem to do a good job out of bye weeks, but kind of is what it is, man. Like, I have some family stuff I got to get to, so we're not going to be live for that long. I'm keeping a seat at the end of the If Kansas loses this, they're not going to make a bowl, which means there's a strong chance Mizzou will not beat a bowl team this year, which is crazy because KU looks so good to start the year. And I don't think they're going to make a bowl game if they lose this game to Arizona. But let's start off with kind of my frustrations. And again, Kirby Moore, you had 2 weeks. Look, Texas A&M is a great defense. I was not expecting wow, Jalen threw that ball. Guy's there. Oh, he threw it out of the end zone. That's tough. Kansas loses. Again, they're not going to make a bowl. That's hilarious. But this isn't to make fun of Kansas. This is to talk about Mizzou. Again, you had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and that was the offense you drew up early in the game. It was pathetic. You had a big run from Ahmad Hardy to start the game. There was a lot of momentum, and then nothing. You had a 50-50 ball to Olubade. Zollers, look, you look like a true freshman playing a top 5 team in the country, top 3 team, maybe the best team in the country. At home, and he looked overwhelmed, man. He looked overwhelmed. He was not good today. But with that being said, this is the point, and we'll talk more about this Monday when I have a little bit more time. Even bad teams, bad offenses can make leverage happen. They find ways for receivers to take slants and get an extra 20 yards. They find receivers on crossers, screens. They designed the offense to hit explosives in the pass game. Not 50-50 balls, explosives. Designed explosives. With the way the hash marks are in college, it allows for an easier time to create and make explosives. Kirby Moore does not do that. They don't do it. They're abysmal at it. And no, it's not, the quarterback missed. Yes, Bode has missed some. But against good teams, against good football teams, they cannot create explosives. The run game was actually pretty good today. If there's one weakness, Texas A&M fans, if you're a Texas A&M fan in here, you have an awesome football team and an amazing head coach. But their run defense was not great today. Now, they did let go of the rope a little bit when they knew Mizzou wasn't coming back. But Jamal and Ahmad went for 100 yards. You take away Hardy's 45-yard run, still 12 carries for 65 yards against Texas A&M. That's pretty good. But they knew Mizzou was no threat in the pass game. Zollers finishes 7 for 22. I guess I am talking about him, so let me flip to that one. Finishes 7 for 22 for 77 yards. He just was not. And 74 of it went to Olubade. So the Tigers were without Norfleet. And that certainly didn't help. Jude James did not have a good day. The Mizzou defense played really hard for about 2.5 quarters. But you could tell they were starting to let go of the rope when it was clear that this Mizzou offense could not do anything. And this Mizzou defense has been great. I had a lot of frustrations in the South Carolina game, the Alabama game, but the last couple of weeks, the Vanderbilt game, the Auburn game, today's game, I thought they've played really, really well. And they let go of the rope at the end, and it just Texas A&M put them away. One of the touchdowns that they scored, they got to stop, and you give up a fake punt. They gave up a 57-yard touchdown run. They saw a lot of the backs of Texas A&M jerseys today. The defense wasn't great today, but they were really, really good for about 2.5 quarters, and you just can't. The offense just couldn't do anything. And again, I was not expecting Kirby Moore to light it up offensively. But you had 10 points until the late in the fourth when A&M was just no explosives, and they still gave up an explosive because Ahmad Hardy's awesome. Just abysmal, man. Just abysmal. Mizzou has to have a new offensive coordinator next year. They just have to. You're going to bring back Zollers. You're going to bring back Alubade, hypothetically. We'll see what happens if Eli leaves. You're going to bring back Hardy. You're going to bring back, nobody on your offensive line, which you need a new OC. You need something with a little more juice, a little more creativity. Mizzou's trying to win football games running the same offense everyone else does, and that's fine when you're playing Kansas and they have no talent. And when you're playing UMass and Louisiana and even some lesser SEC teams like South Carolina, you escaped Auburn. But when you play these teams with good talent, Texas A&M, Alabama, to put up actual points, you need to run something fun. You need to something creative. Look what Vanderbilt's doing to Auburn. Mizzou offense sucked against Auburn. Vanderbilt's put up 38. And on the flip side, Auburn's put up 30. Auburn, who just fired their head coach because of how bad their offense was, playing their backup, the guy that they didn't want to start, Ashton Daniels, has 30 at Vanderbilt. I know Bo got hurt, but Zoller scored your only touchdown, so rein it in. Need a new offensive coordinator. It has to happen. Look, this season's you're going to end at 7-5. Maybe you go to 8-4. Maybe you win 2 of the last 3, but 7-5 looks really likely. I think that calls for a bit of a reevaluation of things, starting with your offensive coordinator. This is 2 years now. I can only say this so many times before my head's going to explode. This is 2 years in a row now where it is a struggle to do anything offensively. I know I talk about explosives all the time, but guys, in college football, you have to hit explosives. You can't go on perfect 12-play drives to score points like you can in the NFL. It just can't happen. That's not how this sport works. That's just not how this sport works. You can't expect a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds to 23 or 24 sometimes, or if you're Diego Pavia, 40 or however old he is. I'm mostly kidding. To execute 12 perfect play drives where not a block is missed, a QB doesn't miss a read, a holding, a false start, something happens. You cannot do it. You have to be able to create explosives, whether that's in leverage, scheming guys open with the way the hashes are. Guys, NC State does not have more talent than Mizzou, but have you watched their offense? They have to change it up. You have to run something different next year. I have a board of people I'd like to see them hire. I don't know if any of those guys are realistic candidates. Even like I said, Daggy at Arizona, I was watching a bit of that game. I would like a lot. Gus Malzahn, just something different. There has to be something different. You cannot continue to run the same crap everyone else tries to run. Because when you play these types of teams, you're gonna get shelled, and you're gonna be extremely limited because Missouri does not have the talent that some of these schools have. It's just the truth. The defense, I thought, played really well for about 2.5 quarters, and then they let go of the rope. This offense isn't helping, and you saw it. We saw LSU do it a couple weeks ago. Penn State's done it a bit. Now they played really hard today, but sometimes good teams, like if they have only one good side of the ball, they let go of the rope. Darius Smith I thought had a pretty good game. They only had 1 sack today. Did force 4 tackles for a loss. I'm excited for Josiah Trotter, what he's going to be as a Missouri Tiger. Same with Nick Rodriguez if he stops doing stupid things. Zion Young, some of these guys on defense, like salute to you, man. This defensive line was great. Sterling Webb was really good today. Like I was not confident in Sterling Webb. Like I thought the D tackle spot next to Chris McClellan was a really bad, like dangerous, like the spot Mizzou could really get exploited. I thought Sterling Webb has played really well. I thought Marquise has had some really good moments. Man, it's just, I think the defense let go of the rope, and we'll see what happens next week against Mississippi State. That's a team looking for an SEC win. They come into your building, like there's just not going to be any juice anymore. Like your season's over. You're not going to make the playoff. We kind of knew that after the Vanderbilt game, but your season's over. Oh my God, Auburn just got an explosive against the Vanderbilt's defense. I thought that was impossible. Now Auburn does have 2 all-world wide receivers, and Mizzou has 1, but he's a freshman. So, but yeah, look, this defense was incredible until they weren't tonight. And when you're on the field for a bajillion plays because your offense can't do anything, 35 minutes time of possession, 29 pass plays, 39 runs. So what? That's 67 plays compared to 56. So it's not a huge disparity, but still almost 36 minutes of time holding the football. And they're a physical team. That's a great offensive line from College Station. And look, and to be fair, this is a Texas A&M team that's finally living up to the hype. Every year we hear about how Texas A&M has amazing facilities, a crazy amount of money. But they like last year, they were really good, and then they just fell apart at the end. They're putting it all together. It's a really good football team, and they're a lock for the playoff now. So good for them. Like earnestly, like I've not like Texas A&M fans. You guys are weird. Everyone makes fun of you how weird you are, but that's an awesome football team. And I see we do have one A&M fan here, but look, when Mizzou was entering the 23 season and Eli was on the hot seat, I thought I was super smart because the guy I wanted when Eli got fired, which we all thought was going to happen, especially after the Middle Tennessee game, I wanted Mike Elko. I've been a huge Mike Elko fan for a long time, and tonight's one of those reasons you see why. His teams play hard. They're usually really disciplined. Mizzou, they had a bunch of penalties tonight, 8 for 65, which after Eli complained, Mizzou wasn't called for one. But you have to like be in the game to force penalties. Usually pretty disciplined. They usually don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're physical as hell. And that's Texas A&M to a T right now. That's a damn good football team. If you put this Texas A&M like you watch Texas A&M, I'm trying to explain this best. If you watch Texas A&M play, and you put Georgia helmets on them, you would think that's a national title contender. But because it's Texas A&M, I don't think people take them quite seriously yet. That's a team that can win a national title. They're not going to be the favorite, and there's another explosive for Auburn. They're not going to win the net. I think Ohio State's clearly the best team in the country. Indiana had a rough game today, but I do think Texas A&M definitely a team that could be hoisting the trophy come January. So, congrats to them. And look, I thought the defense played really hard, but this is the second year in a row now Texas A&M's punked you. And that's embarrassing. It is. Like in the first half, you could see the fight, the energy, because they punked you last year. But then there was just no pride once we got to the end of the game. And look, I understand the offense was not doing anything. They got a couple of late garbage touchdowns, but who cares? You gave up 2 touchdowns basically in garbage time. But super frustrating game. The other guy that needs to get fired at Mizzou is Eric Link. Special teams is a disaster. Even at the end of the game, you drop a freaking you dropped a kickoff. What are you doing? What are you doing? Punting. Hey, look, Auburn just hit another. Oh my God, Cam Coleman. That was unbelievable. That's an insane catch. You missed a field goal. That whole sequence, it was like 3rd and 13. You ran like an inside draw play. You got half a yard to kick a 50-something yard field goal with a kid that's never kicked before. Didn't quite understand that play calling decision or coaching decision. That's not just on Kirby. That obviously runs through Eli as well. You force it off sides, you go for it. Zollers misses the throw. I don't think Donovan would have gotten the first anyway, but that's okay. Punt coverage, routinely awful. Texas, you have a little momentum. It's 24-10. You force a stop. And you're just woefully unprepared for a fake punt. Now, that's kind of the nature of fake punts, unless you're Mizzou. Then everybody knows your fake punt's coming because Eric Link is really bad at his job. Outside of Harrison Mevis, like Mizzou special teams has been abysmal. They had a great return today, set up the only touchdown they scored in the first part of, the first knot. The game's over. But, man, he needs to go. Like this is the time to make some wholesale coaching changes. I don't think you need. Obviously, I think Jacob Peeler does a wonderful job of wide receivers. Curtis Looper does a great job with the running backs. I think your running backs coach is good. Or not, your offensive line coach is pretty good. Cam Coleman's unbelievable. But like this is a whole time to make some wholesale changes to your staff. If you're Eli and you stay, now that making wholesale changes at Mizzou might not be up to Eli. He might be taking the Penn State job. But just super frustrating. That again, you come out in a big game and you just get stomped. Like I've said it, and I'll say it a bunch. Like Mizzou's never going to win a national championship, but like one time I'd like to win a game like this, just once. I'm trying to think of the last time they really won a game like this. OU in 2010, they beat Georgia in 2013, but like Georgia finished 8-5. Like who cares? They don't win games like this, and something that's okay. Like sometimes you're just not meant to be that program, but like I would like to win one of these games. As far as the rest of the season goes, we'll see what happens against Mississippi State. If they lose Mississippi State, like 6-6 is on the board, and then you really have some issues because that means your team quit. And that's been one of Eli's things is his team has not quit. Like last year, they didn't quit at the end of the year. They didn't quit in 22. They won a big game against Arkansas to become bowl eligible. They didn't quit in 21. 20 they never really ever should have quit. They were 5-3. But we'll see what happens as the season winds down. We only got 3 of these left, and then a bowl game. Again, like I said, kind of depends when the bowl game is. If I do this or not, starting in the middle of the workday, I can't get out of it. So I think that's all I want to talk about tonight. I think we'll be live Monday when I don't have to actually get to stuff. I'm sorry about that, but we'll be live Monday, talk more about this game, more about the future of the program, and kind of where we go from here. Season's over. So, like, in terms of playoff hopes, which, again, is so stupid that this is now all we care about as a sport, but it's over. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I know this was a quick one. Again, I do apologize. Like, I have some family stuff going on. Not fun family stuff. I'll leave it at that. Follow me on Twitter at PsychoZ50. When something does happen, I'll probably tweet about it. This is Missouri Postgame Live. The Texas A&M, the Fighting Aggies, come into Columbia and get the win 38-17 over Mizzou. A&M moves to 9-0. They basically a playoff lock. I forget who they have on the schedule. Who do they have left on their schedule? Because they're a playoff lock now. I know they probably have some crap team. I think they already beat Mississippi State. I know I was just about to get off, but I want to continue to congratulate the Aggies because, like, finally they live up to the hype. That's a national title worthy team. Come on. Let's see. I know they got Texas, obviously. Yeah, Stanford and South Carolina home. Yeah, you're in the playoff. So congrats to them. Mizzou, a lot of work to do just to get to the next part of the season. And now we all eyes toward Eli and the transfer portal. So you guys all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you on Monday.